Hi, welcome to this month's vlog. I hope you are all well. I have got my little list because this vlog contains so many different things, so many different clips, I can't even remember myself. So I am making a little tree and we're doing some spinning to knit. There's obviously the coverlet of comfort this month and the previous month's parts to it. We are rust dyeing, which is another new thing for me, and we're making some slow stitch things, so there's lots going on in this video. So let's get into it. Hope you enjoy. Thanks for watching. I have this old tree with lights on. Well, it's not even a tree. I'll turn the light on in a minute and you can see properly. And I thought it'd be quite nice to have this out just for the winter season, maybe even for the summer. As you can see now that the light is on, all it is on a brown base wrapped with brown tape, and then it has some little LEDs on the ends. And I was going to throw it out, and then I had a look on Pinterest for some ideas, and one of them was yarn bombing it, and this is what I've done so far. So what I'm going to do is grab all of my spare bits of hand spun yarns, which I showed you in my last video, that I have in here, and I'm going to just wrap them around here, and then it's going to be looking like that. Far better than that brown tape. At least then it will fit in with my craft room a bit more, be a bit something funky. I'm going to leave these thinner bits just as they are. I did try wrapping them, but it doesn't look quite right. Also, I can maybe crochet a few things and hang them from it. I don't know, we'll see, but we'll start with the yarn bombing first. I've yarn bombed the tree, and what I'm doing now, I've got some sari scraps here, and some things have got some really pretty bits to cut out. And what I'm thinking of doing, for instance, get my hand in there, this pretty thing is hanging something that's embroidered like that, little scraps on the tree. The other thing I've got is sari silk to tie on, so I'm just decorating at the moment. So I'm not going to show you the yarn bombed tree until it's finished being decorated, and then I'll let you see it. Here it is, all finished. It's hard to get it in, really. I could do with the foam round the other way. So basically it's all upcycled. The plasticky tree was going to go in the bin. These bits are scraps of waste yarn from when I've been weaving. We've got recycled sari silks and cut out bits from saris, and jewellery that was going in the bin. I actually rescued from my junk journals. Again, same with this. That was for a junk journal, so I've got to scrap a lot of jewellery in there that no one wanted. Scrap yarns. Basically, it's my creative tree, and I really love it, actually. Oh, and here, this was a ring that came in some junk jewellery, and I just really like it. I mean, I don't never wear it as a ring, but it's quite cute to sit on my tree, I think. A little blue crystal bug. What else have we got on here? This was off of cut off a piece of sari, old sari remnant. And what it's saying to me is it's for my love of all the things I love to do. So we've got the slow stitching. We've got, again, the sari silk could be slow stitching, or it could be spinning, because I spin sari silk into some of my yarns. We've got the love of spinning and the love of wool in general for crocheting and knitting. So I'm really happy with it. It's hard to get it in though. Let me just move my chair as I go. Sorry about the noise. But there it is in its glory. And I'll show you, I'm going to put it in its position where I'm going to leave it in my actual craft room, and then you can see what it looks like. That's its pride of place. It might not be everyone's taste, but I love it. It's my kind of thing. You're either going to like it or you're not. A bit like Marmite, I suppose. So that's where it's going to sit, just here on my little shelf of bits. But it fits in rather nicely. I'll try not to go too quickly. It's going to pan back a bit. There we are. And this is what it looks like in the dark. I am really pleased with it. It's just a bit of bling for my craft room, if you like. I'm hoping you can see in this artificial light, because it's obviously getting darker now that it's nearly winter here in the UK. This is week 2 or 3 of November's Coverlet of Comfort. I'm just going to scan you up it. I'm afraid I'm going to get a bit of shadow in a minute, I think, as I go past my light. Apologies for that. I've added the patches. I've done quite a lot of work on it. It seems to be taking me ages to stitch it, but then it is quite a big piece because I've had to do it quite big in order to fit it into the actual Coverlet of Comfort itself. So we've done, yeah, stitching all over it. And go back the other way. I've got patches. I've done some darning for the first time ever. There's one that's very badly darned. And then there's a couple over here, which I'm a bit happier with. Happier with that one. Or not that one. Lost it now. Oh, this one. That's my favourite darn. Whether it's right or not, I don't know, because I've never darned before. But yeah, there we go. That is it so far. This was the final week of November for November's Coverlet of Comfort. I am going to do a lot more stitching on this. Ideally, I think I want it to look a bit, you know, like this patch here. And as you can see, there are lots and lots of unworked spaces. So I'm just going to spend time picking bits to stitch on, I think, and I'll probably fill it up pretty much with stitches. But that's what this one looks like. And then we've started December's, which I'll just get out and show you the colour choice for that one. Because my coverlet has yellow down here with the stars, I decided that my December piece will be going up the top there. So I thought to balance out the yellow, I would use yellow in it. So I've got my all different yellow cloths, and then I found the blue because I thought, oh, that goes quite nicely with it. And then I realised I'd got most of my family, well, actually all my family's a piece of clothing in for my children and my husband included in my Coverlet of Comfort, and I realised I hadn't got any for my son. I'd only got this one shirt of his, lovely and bright, and I thought I need to put him in it. So I've used 2 strips of his shirt in the cloth weaving, and I'm actually really pleased with the result. It's lovely and bright. I think it's brilliant, and luckily it fits in. It will fit nicely with, because obviously it's going to be, just bear with me a minute, it's going to be going to next to this one. Try not to make you sick. There you go. So it's going to be going across there like that. So yeah, that's December's. I presume we're going to be stitching on it next week, so I shall wait and see what we have to do for that one. I have also this month been working on the squares. These are going to go around the edge of the Coverlet of Comfort. I need, I think it's 28 of them, 7 on each side. I've just done 7. They're not joined together because I'm not sure if I'm going to join them together, because I'm not sure if this is going to fit the entire length of my actual coverlet. So I'm gradually working my way through them when I have time. Yeah, I'm quite pleased with them. Nice and bright. And then doing a little bit of different stitching in the centre there. So we've got seed stitch, and then seed stitch again, spiral, crosses, and so on. And that's what I'm doing with those. Last winter, I made my first ever sock yarn. I spun it myself and then I knitted some socks. And I'll tell you what, they are the loveliest, warmest socks ever. And I've got loads more of this sock yarn, so I want to spin it all up. I'll just show you. I'll take my leg down. I'm being very, look, I've been quite, doing a bit of yoga up onto my creative desk there. I'll just switch around and then you can see the yarns that I'm hoping to spin up over the winter. These four here are what make up my stripy socks that you've just seen me wearing. But my idea is I'm hoping I've got enough, because I've got small feet anyway, so I'd never use a whole ball of yarn anyway for my socks. There's always loads of flavour, so I'm hoping, I think there's about 75 grams left in each, something like that. I'm hoping that if I spin them up individually, so I have a purple, red, blue and black sock yarn, I have 4 pairs of socks. I've also got, I'll just whoosh these out of the way, I've also got some superwash merino in these 2 colours, which again, there's definitely plenty there. I'm hoping to spin them up as well. It's going to take me a while because obviously sock yarn needs to be reasonably thin. So yeah, it's going to take me a winter, but I'm going to get to it and spin them all up, and then eventually over the next few years knit some more socks. I'm having a dilemma. I can never choose which spinning wheel to spin on because I love them all so much. These are only 2. I've got my 3rd one behind me. My 3rd one is actually for really chunky yarns, so that's out of the picture because I need to do some fine yarns. But it's a choice between this lovely wheel and this lovely wheel. This was my first ever wheel. I bought it for £75 and it's an Ashford Traveller, so it's nice and compact. I'm probably going to go for her because I'm so used to her and I love her so much. And also she's got the wider bobbin on, so I can actually spin the entire amount of fibre on one bobbin. Whereas as you can see with this one, even though I could interchange these, I could mess about, take that whole thing off and put it on here. Yeah, this one's got a smaller one on. So yeah, I think I am going to go for this one. So she needs good oil because I haven't done any spinning for a while, and then I can get starting spinning up my sock yarn. I've decided to start off with the lovely blue colour. There's like dark blue and turquoise. I hope the camera can pick it up. I think this is Blue Face Leicester with something like 20% nylon, which I thought I did need the nylon in it to create a sock that lasts, but I've decided that I'm just going to use any kind of strong fibre without all the nylon and things like that. I mean, you can use bamboo and silk, I think, as an alternative, which I'd much rather do because obviously they're all natural. So when I have spun all these different ones, I will be looking into that for making more socks in the future. So let's get spinning. As you can see, I am spinning it really very fine. Obviously I need to do that because I want to make it into a 3-ply yarn. I've done this much so far. So in order to get it this thin, I'm actually going to make this fibre into what they call pencil roving. I'll turn you around and I'll show you what I mean. So to get pencil roving, literally, like they say, you get the tiniest slither, take that off. And again, I like to, actually that's probably a bit too thick, but it'll be all right. I can spin it thicker. So if you struggle to get a thin yarn, make that even thinner than that. You know, you could halve that again, but I'm all right with that. And then what I do like to do, like you've seen me do in previous videos, is pre-draft it, purely because then it's easier on the fingers. And again, it's easier for me personally to spin a thinner yarn. So let's get spinning. This is just kind of my go-to spin. I slightly pull back with the left hand. I don't know if you can see my hands very well. I kind of ran the wrong way for the camera, I think. And then I pull back my right hand. And I'm only taking out a few small fibres at a time. I'm not spinning that whole chunk that I showed you. I'm just pulling a few fibres out. It's going to take me a while to spin all these up, I can tell you that now. Because when you're spinning this thin, this is hours and hours of work. So I'm just going to work my way through spinning them over the winter, I think. So the sock yarn's taken me just over 4 hours, I reckon, to spin up about 75 grams. And then tomorrow I'm going to have to spend a few more hours plying it. So it does take a long time, doesn't it? And then, of course, knitting the socks, good grief, that takes me hours and hours. So all in all, well, I dread to think how many hours I put into, you know, creating a pair of socks. So the single has been resting for 24 hours and I'm now Navajo plying it. So I'm using the same bobbin, just the one bobbin, and I'm making one single strand into 3. And that's producing my sock yarn. And even though I spun really what I considered quite thin yesterday, my sock yarn's coming up quite, not thick, but thicker than probably a normal sock yarn. I'm not really sure, but what I will do is once I've taken it off of this bobbin, I'll compare it with an actual bought sock yarn and we'll see the difference in the thickness. So I'm going to continue on doing this. It will probably take me another hour, I'd imagine, to get it done. So this is the sock yarn, and in fact I love the colour. It's pretty good, I think, in relation to normal bought sock yarn, but we'll compare that in a minute. First of all, we're going to weigh it and see how much it is. Pop it on the scale. So I've got 68 grams there. Now what I need to know is that going to be enough to do 2 socks for my small feet? I'm hoping so, but we'll keep that out. And what I'll do, I've got all my scrap sock yarns here. Well, that one's not a scrap one. That we'll compare it with this one actually. This is a bought one, which I've hand dyed. So in comparison to size, if I can get a tiny bit of it, and a tiny bit of mine, and see if the camera can pick. Actually, that's not bad. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, let's grab it again. That isn't actually that bad at all. I spun it quite well though, I'm quite impressed. So I'm going to aim to spin up the other coloured balls exactly like this one. So brilliant, so that's good. But the next thing I do need to know, do a bit more weighing. So with these here, these are all left over. I've made pairs of socks with all of these, and these are what's left over. I have used some of that. Let's find, I don't think, this is my one from my stripy socks. Now, I don't think I have used any of this for anything else, like I use it for slow stitching and all sorts of things. So we'll see how much is left over, and then I'll know how much I need of the one I've just spun to make my pair of socks. So if we weigh this one in, 41 grams left. Now that's quite interesting. So that means I'm only using 59 grams anyway. And what did this weigh in? At 67. So, that's quite good actually to know that. I'm sure I haven't used this for anything else. And I'm sure there was only 100 grams. Maybe there was a bit more actually, because thinking about it, if I've only got 67 left of this, it means I took more than 25 grams originally to make the stripy yarn. Right, let's just try and weigh one more ball, shall we? Right, let me see, what have I got? I made a pair of socks. This is hand dyed, not by me, but hand dyed from an Etsy store, and I made my mum this pair of socks. She's got the same size feet as me. So we'll wait to see how much is left of that. 52 grams, and that was definitely a 100 gram ball. So it does look like there's a possibility then that this will be enough to make 2 socks. I'm really, really hoping so. I think I'm just going to give it a go and see what happens. You know, I like to experiment anyway. So there we go. So next to spin up all the other colours so that they look like this as well. And then I have loads and loads of yarn for sock making, because apart from having to what am I on about? Apart from having to knit this one into socks. Oh, and that one, but that was a bought one, but I think I might do socks with that anyway. All these in here are leftovers from socks that I've made in the past, but what I was going to do was make stripy pairs. So I've got, you know, an awful lot of wool to make socks with, so I best get knitting. My second purple sock. I'm very nearly there. I've got to knit to about there and then do the toe decreases, and then I've got my second sock and I can wear them for the winter, so that's good. So I'm working on this at the moment, and then also my jumper that I started, I think it was in, I can't remember if it was the beginning of this vlog or it was last month's vlog. I think it might have been last month's vlog actually. The reason I don't know is because obviously I film clips throughout the month, so don't ask me, time is all over the place. So yeah, this is my alpaca wool that I spun, and I'm using my newish circular needles, and I've created the top, and at the moment I'm doing the yoke. And again, I'm loving this. I'm hoping that when I've done the yoke, I can understand the knitting pattern to keep going. I really hope so. If not, I've got my mum at hand and she'll help me, I'm sure. I have been continuing this week along with spinning the sock yarns, and I've done another one. And here, this must be my thinnest yarn yet, I reckon. It's 3 ply, and I did it so thin that when I was actually chain plying together, it kept breaking quite a bit. But yeah, that's really thin for me. So quite proud of that, apart from the breakages, but never mind, they're all rectified. So that's the second one done. So I've now only got 4 more to go. I think I'm going to do the purple one next. And talking of spinning, while we're here, I have found some different fibres to spin. Again, this was inspired by a beautiful story, which I will link in the video below, that Catherine on K3 and Cloth Tales read out. Oh, what a beautiful story. It so resonated with me. Absolutely beautiful. Written by Nancy. And I'm sorry, I can't remember Nancy's surname. But I will share the link below and you can listen for yourselves. Get a nice cup of tea and listen. And they were on about spinning flax and nettle fibre. Well, I've got a whole bag here of different coloured flax. And I have had a go at spinning it before. I've spun a thread, which I'll find in a minute and I'll show you that, but it was a bit too thick to sew with. I've got to get it finer again, but now I've done this yarn over here, I'm hoping I can actually spin it a lot finer. But it's a different obviously fibre to work with. It's a protein or plant fibre as opposed to a woolen fibre, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to wool, so it's, you know, I've got to get used to spinning it, and I would like to work out how to just spin it into thread. Anyway, this story went on about and spinning with nettles, and I actually had all these different fibres in my stash that I bought ages ago. I got milk fibre, banana fibre, and in there was some nettle fibre, which is this little bundle here. So I would like to have a go at spinning some thread with this as well, but I need to do a bit of research into this. Obviously it's been bleached and processed, probably a bit too much for my liking, because I think I prefer the original brown colour that it is. But you know, for now I can have a practice with this and see what happens, what the results are, and then take it from there. Maybe either get clever and do some research and find my own nettle to make the fibres, or I can cheat and buy some fibre online. So thread making, looking into it and researching how to make threads from these plant fibres, and then making the sock yarns there as well. Here is my first attempt at spinning flax. It's not too bad, it's a bit lumpy in places and it's reasonably fine, and I didn't actually ply it, I just kept it as a single. Again, I'm not sure whether you should be plying to get thread, because obviously when you just spin one single, it's got so much energy in it, it curls up. Whereas if you ply it together with another thread, then it, you know, calms it down a lot. But that was a bit of an experiment. So again, more research needed before I start spinning and perfecting my spin. Next year, I aim to have a go at eco dyeing. I haven't got a clue how to do it, but the whole thing really, oh, I can't wait to have a go. So I've got to do some research into it and get some of the equipment I need. So I've cheated a bit and I've been on to Etsy and I found this lady local to me, and she eco dyes. And oh my goodness, I've bought 3 bundles of hers. They're so-called scraps. I mean, they're just so gorgeous. So I thought I'd just show you a few. Just check you're in shop. Yeah, there's one, obviously. It's a lovely grey one. I mean, they're just absolutely gorgeous. I mean, look at that. I think I'm going to start with making a cloth pouch, because I do like making those, and I think these would just look absolutely beautiful as a cloth pouch. The other thing I did think of doing was making a scroll and then stitching over it, but I just kind of want to just keep them and look at them. I think this one, I presume, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, all you eco dyers out there, I think this is rust dyed and eco dyed, because obviously it's got leaves on it. But the colours, aren't they just lovely? I'll show you a couple more. There's a nice sort of, oh, look at the blue of this one. I'll be here all day if I show them all to you, so we'll just have a quick scan through them, but I'll just pick out this blue one. I mean, look at that. Isn't that gorgeous? The trouble I'm having is, which side do you use? Because they're both so beautiful. It's another lovely, look at that with the red in. I'm not sure how they get all these effects. Yeah, I've got a whole bundle here. I mean, just look at the deliciousness of these. There we go. Oh, I mean, look, just look. Look at that one. Isn't that lovely? Anyway, so I'm going to get working with these, my precious eco dye cloths, and one day I hope to produce my own that look like this. I'd be so happy. I've just selected those 2 beautiful eco prints from that pile. They're absolutely gorgeous. They're matching because the fabrics feel very soft and very similar, and it's quite a good size. What I aim to do is make a simple pouch with it. I'm going to put a bit of felt between the 2 layers, and I'm going to stitch around the leaves and just literally make a simple pouch. So I'm going to get started with that, and I will film a bit of the process as I go. But I mean, aren't they just, they're just so lovely. I have chosen this one as the front, and I've just tacked it onto some felt onto the back to give it a nice thick layer. And these are the colours that I've chosen to go with this, which I'm going to stitch over. And I think I've got an idea of what I'm going to do. I'm going to do the blanket stitch that goes around in a circle. Attempt to anyway. I think I'm going to cover that with that, and then maybe if it needs a bit more work, which it probably won't, I might then stitch around the edges of the leaves, or I might start stitching with the leaves first. Not really sure, but they're the colours I'm going for. I might actually get a darker one to match that too. I think I'll have to find that colour as well. So now to start stitching. I haven't had much of a chance to stitch on this cloth pouch using the eco dyed cloth that I've recently bought. I did do some blanket stitch on the leaf there, and I'm not really sure as to go, whether I want to stitch over each individual leaf or whether I now go a bit more organic and go over it. I'm not sure. I think I might do a darker colour on this one and then take it from there, but that's as far as I've got on the cloth pouch. It has got its felt backing attached to it, but that is it so far. So I really must work on that as well. As if I need any more projects, but you know what it's like, you get inspiration, you've got to make it even if it takes ages. So again, using these beautiful cloths, I've picked 2 out, and what I'm going to do, I'm in desperate need of a purse or a wallet just to put my cards and cash in. My other one's really old, I don't want to buy one, so I want to make a zipped, you know, coin purse. I'm not sure yet whether I'm going to hand stitch it or whether I'm going to cheat and use my sewing machine, but I'm not sure if I've got a zipper foot, not sure. But I think what I'm going to do is, this is going to be the inside and then this will be the outside, but I am going to stitch on here first to make it really exciting rather than just being plain. I think I'm also going to use the felt as a central layer to thicken it as well, and then I'll probably, once I've done the slow stitching on it, I think I probably will use my sewing machine if I can figure it out, because I haven't used it for so long, to make the pouch. So there we go, another little project in the mix. I thought I'd have a go at rust dyeing some cloth. Never had a go, so I've looked at some YouTube videos, and at the moment it's still sitting here. It's been sitting in this sort of damp state for, I think for about 3 or 4 days. There's about 3 or 4 bits of cloth that I'm actually dyeing. I'm using, well, I went around the garden first of all, and luckily my husband has lots of rusty metal, and so I collected that all up. He's actually got me a whole bucket full more when he can find it, which would be really good. And instead of using white vinegar, which is what is suggested, I used tea, because apparently instead of the red oxide you get black oxide when you use tea. So as I didn't have any white vinegar, I thought perfect, so I'll give it a go. It's all wet, I squeezed tea all over it basically, and I'm just leaving it here. It is wrapped in a plastic bag, and what I'm waiting for is some bicarbonate of soda to arrive so that you can clean the cloth off, so that it stops the rust continuing to you know, affect the cloth, so you don't get any holes in your cloth. So until that arrives, it's staying in the tray, but when I do take it all apart, I will show you the results. This is how the rust and tea dye fabrics turned out. Not bad. This is not my favourite piece. This is more tea dye than anything really. There are a few rust spots on it. This is a bit of my dad's linen shirt, so that's not too bad. I don't mind that. It was just trying fabric, you know, different fabrics really. The next one was this old napkin. It's got a little tiny embroidery there. That turned out quite nice. I'm liking that. Both sides. Quite a lot going on there. That's quite nice. My favourite piece of all is my Nan's damask tablecloth, or part of it, because it was obviously not that small. And as you can see, that's worked really lovely. That's the old bit of beetle car. Yeah, beetle car. I think that was a screw. So I'm really pleased with that. I really like that. And I've actually been on a rust treasure hunt this morning on my walk, and I found some. It was brilliant. I've now got a little pot going. I've just found that in my husband's garage, so I've nabbed that. And then I've got a bit of a sharp bit. That I just found on the roadside, so I thought that might be quite an interesting bit of rust to make a print from. And these other bits I found in the garden. That's one of the kids' little kitchen toys from a while ago. I don't know how well that'll work. It's not that rusted. And then also this I found whilst I was out. This is really heavy. I'm not sure what it is, but it's really heavy. So yeah, I've got all these fantastic bits of rust now to have a go with. And also, I'll just walk you over there. Pop these back in here. Just turn you around slowly. Over here, just outside my crafting space door, I now have, you can just about see them in there, 2 rust buckets. They literally got loads of rust in the bottom of them. One's a saucepan that's literally rusted, and the other one it's got a couple of flat metal bits. My husband's just found me in his garage full of rust as well. So that's going to be my rust station, which is brilliant because it's just outside my doors here of my craft room. So there we go. And oh, look what I've just done. I'm about to do some more with all the rust I've found, and I filled the tray up with some tea, and it's now soaked into the lovely dry cloth. Never mind, I'll dry it out and get on with it. So I'm going to get to some more rust dyeing this morning. I'm hoping you can hear me here because it's very windy, but I've set up, that's my big rust dye bath, and then I've wrapped loads of different fabric in all the different metal bits I've got, and already it's starting to look lovely. And then underneath here, underneath the wood, I've got a long strip, which is actually on one of these that have gone all rusty. So I'm hoping that'll work. And then I've got the rusty saucepan with just some scraps in, which I'm also going to leave. So I'm going to leave this outside for 24 hours at least and have a look tomorrow to see what it looks like. About just over 10 years ago, when I was really into my crochet, I made this advent calendar. I've had it in the loft. I haven't got it out for the last few years, but I decided to get it out this year for the kids. Yeah, it was, I can't remember how I made it. I think it must have been surface crochet for the tree there. And then I've crocheted all little, we've got baubles. Oh, it's come off. Oh dear, get it back on there. Baubles, stockings. I know what number, oh, if I can get this one out down here. Number 24 contains a Father Christmas head. Well, I've got reindeers in there. Let's see what else. I think we've got candy canes too. Oh, yeah, there's a little candy cane. Oh, it's a bit squished, that candy cane. Well, yeah, that I made, as I say, about 10 years ago. So the kids are really enjoying taking it in turns, picking something out the pockets. Anyway, if you've made it to the end of this video, thank you for watching. And if you do celebrate the Christmas season, happy Christmas to you all. And if not, sending you all my love and lots of blessings to you all. Take care. Bye.